Hi, it's Suzy from Active Seniors with another quick exercise tip for you. So this week we're focusing on the hip flexor muscles and we're looking specifically to see, are they naughty or are they nice? So I'm going to show you a quick self-check today. We're going to focus on whether they're tight and the next video that you'll see later on in the week, we'll look at a self-check to see if they're weak. Okay, so the hip flexors unfortunately get blamed as being tight all of the time, and sometimes they are, but sometimes they're actually weak. So we want to make sure that we're actually testing, not guessing, and we're giving the right exercise for the right outcome. So all you'll need today, you'll need to lie down on your bed and you're going to pull one knee in to the chest at a time. And what we're focusing on here is what happens to the leg that we're not pulling. So you'll notice here that as I'm pulling my leg up, that my other leg rises with it. And the reason that that happens is because if my hip flexor is tight, it will cause the pelvis to tilt and that will subsequently lift up the opposite leg. Okay, so that's a good sign that my hip flexors are a little bit tight and could use some mobility work. All right, we want to always check and make sure that the same thing happens on the other side, because you can have one side that's tight and another side that's not too bad, and you don't want to overstretch a side if it's not needed. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of different options for a stretch for those hip flexors if you did find that during the self-check they were tight. So the first is the most common, which is a lunging stretch. Now, if I'm lunging forward, I'm stretching my back leg here. I want to make sure that to start with, I don't have too big a curve in my back. In fact, I can probably flatten the curve a little bit so that I don't have to lunge as far forward before I feel a stretching sensation in the front of the back leg. Okay, I can enhance this stretch a little bit further by reaching across to the opposite side. Okay. And for those of you that do have difficulty kneeling, you can replicate the exact same movement, standing up next to a wall with your foot on the chair and lunging forward towards the chair. Another option that you do have is trying to strengthen the opposing muscles, which will pull the hip flexor muscle into a stretched position. So to do that, you would be lying on your stomach. You would want to bend your knee, and in this position here, lifting the thigh off the bed or the ground, keeping the hips flat, holding it up for about 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back down, and repeating that 6 times. Okay, so if you do choose that variation, just make sure that you're not getting any pain in your back as you're performing the exercise. You should try and relax your back as much as possible, focus on engaging your glutes, and you should feel a good stretch in your hip flexor at the same time. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tip. Stay tuned for later on during the week where we'll go through a strength check to see if you need to do some strengthening exercises for the hip flexors. All right, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you later on in the week.